My mom told me never to talk to strangers on the internet, but I ignored her. We're the Certified Noonas, your sisters in shared love of Asian entertainment.
Woo!
Yay! This is our first podcast! Yay!
Yay! Clap ourselves! Yay!
First off,
I'm Amanda. I'm in the Canada line. Yay. I got into dramas in 2016. My first drama was Birdie Buddy with Yui. I watched it on Netflix. I got into watching them here and there. Then I found, DramaFever, Sob, and Vicky. And then it was later in 2016 that I started to get into K-pop because I was watching Cinderella and the Four Knights, and I was like, that guy is a singer. That's weird. I wonder if he's really a singer. So then I looked him up online, and yes, he was, and then CN Blue, and then that led to reaction videos, which led to Big Bang and ACNU and BTS, and now I'm just, insane and
into everything.
Yeah, into everything. So that's basically it. And now I watch Japanese dramas and Thai dramas and Taiwanese dramas and Chinese dramas and basically everything.
Yay.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. So hi, I'm Jessie. You might know me as Wine and K-drama. I got started in K-dramas probably around 2015, 2016. I actually had been into anime when I was younger, and then I kind of had this epiphany that I needed to start back learning Japanese. And learning Japanese led to J-dramas, which we all know J-dramas are non-existent, or the catalog is small, and so I kind of went into K-dramas naturally. My first K-drama was Boys Over Flowers. I probably only was able to get through Boys Over Flowers because of my anime background, because that, I think, is a really good drama for anybody who's into anime. It's very kind of stylized anime. And so from that, I kind of just naturally got really into K-dramas, and recently I started watching Taiwanese dramas. I'm pretty much open to anything right now because I have no life and I'm just going to keep watching dramas. So yay. And then with K-pop, I actually technically started listening to K-pop back in high school, because I was into anime and I liked this anime called Inuyasha, which had a lot of songs from BoA. So I kind of got introduced into BoA, and also there was a summer that me and my best friend spent at the arcade. And we really wanted to play DDR, but DDR was not an option. But there was this other version, and it was called Pump It Up. And so I spent an entire summer listening to, all of the old school K-pop people. And this was back in, 99. So, Pinkle and everybody. So that's how I got into K-pop. And then I've always kind of naturally been into J-rock and stuff. And coming back into K-dramas has kind of led to more interest into K-pop. So yeah.
Very nice. Nice. Hello, I am Natalia. I am Canadian and known as Soju Nights online because of my love of the delicious clear liquid known as soju. I got into K-dramas in 2013. It's been a while. Like Jessie, I was very into anime as a youngin' back in the day, and that sort of, I loved J-pop, I loved the movies, I still read the hilarious amount of manga. I too have no life. My first K-drama was also Boys Over Flowers, because it was on Netflix, and it came up on my Netflix maybe you'll like this because you watched this anime movie, and I'm like, okay, let's check her out. And I remember watching it and thinking, this is so bad, I need to see the next episode. So I got through it and I was like, okay, there's no way that all Korean shows are as terrible as this. So as I've said several times before, like, morbid curiosity gets me most of the ways I go in life. So the next one I watched was Shut Up and Let's Go, which I think on Netflix was called Shut Up Flower Boy Band, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know which one it was. And then I watched it and it was like, yes, yes, this is what I've been looking for my whole life. And then I found, tear, DramaFever. About that later. And then I started from there. I spend most of my time watching Korean dramas because I have nothing else going on. So that led to a little earlier than that. I would say I got into K-pop, Big Bang. But I'm a huge EXO fan. Huge. But I like everything. I'm pretty easy to please K-pop wise. And I'm very creepy in a fun way about good-looking men. That's kind of my role, that I will make the creepy old lady comments in the back. So,
but not too creepy.
No, like fun creepy, not creepy. Yeah. That's it for me.
Well, I'm Sky. I think my handle is K-Dramas Rock. I only grabbed it recently. So, I'm newer to the whole K-drama thing. I started this year. I think I started watching Taiwanese dramas on Netflix early February. And then probably went through about 6 or 7 of those. Then I kept reading about how people thought K-dramas were really cool. I tried one. I didn't know there was a huge quality difference between web dramas and the normal production stuff. So I will not say what name I watched because someone might like it somewhere. But tried that. It was awful. But then I went back to, is it Fantastic Boys was the Taiwanese drama, and so then it was a remake. No, Fabulous Boys was the remake of You're Beautiful.
Yeah, You're Beautiful, yeah.
So I loved Fabulous Boys, and so that was kind of my bridge back into K-drama, trying You're Beautiful. I didn't even watch all of it because it's the same story, so I need to watch the whole thing sometime. But after that, I watched Heartstrings and King Two Heart, or whatever that one's called, at like the same time. And so then that kind of proved, okay, I'll watch them. So then Goblin kind of sent me on, oh, it's pretty. So then I kind of knew that K-dramas were my thing after that. But I still touch back into Taiwanese whenever something's interesting to me, like mainly the actors that I've already watched or something that I like. K-pop, I think I started getting into that in April of this year. I just kind of started learning more about the Korean culture once I was watching the shows. I like soundtrack music a lot. I just like music in general. I like to go to US concerts all the time. So I started listening to the soundtrack music, so then I thought, oh, what is popular Korean music? And of course I'd heard about K-pop, but what's so great about it? So then I kind of started looking. I started liking Super Junior first, along with some TVXQ. Not the really old stuff, though it's good. It's good now. But at the time, I think, just the duo of TVXQ. And then, but then I ran into Astro's music videos, and just because they were so stinking cute, I had to keep watching them. So they were my first bias group, or whatever you would call that. And so that's actually what led me to even being on Twitter in the first place. I wasn't on Twitter before that. I was kind of a holdout. I used to not like Twitter very much. Cause I thought, why would I use that? Well, you use it for lots of stuff. So, yeah. So Astro, and then that kind of led me down the path of The Rose, cause I like rock music and stuff. And then at this point, I pretty much just like everybody. I mean, I like going back. Big Bang stuff is great, I'd like to go to all the concerts, but none of them even come to the States, so it's fine. Yeah, so that's me.
It's so tough being a North American K-pop fan, isn't it? Especially if you don't live in, like, LA or New York.
Yeah. Or if you don't even want to go to LA or New York all that much. I mean, it kind of scares me to pieces.
I like New York, but yeah. Like, it would have to be, like, pretty enticing for me to try, like...
That's a lot of money.
Like, oh, okay, yeah. Like
the amount of money,
Yeah.
Money and time.
Yeah. I'm the same way about Toronto. Like, it's not that far, but I hate driving in Toronto. So unless it's something like at the convention center where the bus like was right there, I have no interest. I just don't want to do it. So.
I also just hate people, so I don't really want to spend all of my time surrounded by them, right?
Yeah, I still also am not a huge fan of people.
Yeah.
So how did we meet?
Ooh.
Do we
I remember Jessie tagging me in a
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all her.
Me.
I was sort of just like, you know, a creeper who would occasionally like leave like a comment and be like, oh, what if they think my comment's stupid? But then since we've become friends, since then I'm just like, so what if my comment's stupid? They're gonna read it anyway.
You're always gonna like it.
So now you purposefully leave stupid comments.
Hey now. My comments are great.
I actually have a pretty funny story about when we met on Twitter, to be specific. So it was on Twitter, and Jessie, she tagged, I don't know, there was somebody that wanted to know K-drama accounts, Twitter accounts to follow.
Yeah.
And so, to be clear, I was on my Astro account at the time. The only Twitter account I had. And I only posted about K-drama a little bit here and there, and I had found Jessie's, and I liked the way she talked about her K-drama stuff, so I had commented on hers. And so when she tagged me, I was like, oh no. I was actually terrified. I took heart my husband about that. Because I was like, well, I really want to talk to these people about this, but I knew that my Twitter account was just chock full of Astro crud. Like, that's all I really posted about.
But you, like, messaged me one time, and it was about K-dramas, too. So that is, like, no, you recommended me some stuff, because I was like, oh, I have summers off, I don't work, so I was like, I'm gonna do a marathon, and you were the first one to actually respond to me.
I remember now.
And so that's part of the reason why I tagged you.
I'm happy I did that then. I'm happy I impressed you so much.
I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea why she tagged me, but it all worked out great.
Because it's soju in your name.
You know what? That was probably it.
I mean, alcohol, so.
So we were kindred spirits.
Yeah.
We both had booze in our names.
I think also because I think it was Drama Current who had tagged me in the thing, and then I was like, okay, I'll just tag some more people because there were people that were tagged that I was already friends with on Twitter. So it's like, oh, I'll add some more people that I genuinely like reading their stuff, and then kind of just snowballed from there.
Yeah, I had a moment of like, I've arrived. Like, finally, someone did my thoughts on K-dramas.
I thought about my response for like a good 30 minutes, because I was going, I obviously have an Astro Twitter account, and I don't know what to say, because if I start talking to these people, they're going to want me to talk about drama stuff, which I would love to do, but I'm going to drive them insane with this other crud.
But nobody cares.
Yeah, we all love it. That's the best part. It's like, it's very rare to meet someone who's just like, no, only K-dramas, like, never mention K-pop. We're all like, K-pop, woo!
Oh, you like that person? Cool.
I hadn't experienced that before, so like my limited Twitter experience, let me just say, Astro fans, some of them are very militant about that's all they want to see. They don't even really want to see many other K-pop groups, like, much less talk about dramas, only rarely. And so I was terrified of like, oh, these awesome people, I want to talk about dramas with them, but how am I going to do that without making them run away? And then we just all got to talking about GIFs and just random
we're really big into GIFs. That's, I think, was our, like, common thing, and it was just like one of those threads that we were just like non-stop, just
yeah, and that has continued. Like, if anyone looks through our like Twitter conversations, like the threads are just all inappropriate gifs, just gifs for days. And if they ever saw our chat log, it's mostly gifs as well.
Even on private chat, we're still like,
whatever. That's how we do things. But we pretty much, without all deciding it together, we just individually just had like a gift party and just started talking about dramas. Yeah.
But someone actually suggested a podcast. I don't think I did.
I think it was you.
I remember responding. I was like, oh, don't talk about podcasts, because if we're going to do a podcast, I will definitely join in. Right. But someone said something, and I don't remember who.
I think it was Sky. I'm voting Sky. He was like, "You guys are cool."
I'm very like that. I keep people their word with stuff.
It was like we had mentioned it jokingly in like the big group chat that we have with like all of our mutuals, and then you. I think, Sky, you started a second group chat that was just us.
I know.
It was like, you're the coolest ones. We should
you guys.
Well, okay. So, I was just meaning, I think we talked about a podcast the first day we met. Yeah. When we were having our little...
Yeah, it was like...
I think in the open Twitter, somebody mentioned it in the open Twitter, and we were all like, yes.
We were like, we had a podcast, it would be so funny, and then it was like, oh. And then a few days later, the private chat opened and was like, hey, podcast girl,
we're gonna do this, right?
And then, here we are, today. And on the eve of just following such a big commotion in the drama community.
Dramatic yesterday.
That we did not anticipate. We had set this date like a couple weeks ago to film our first. So much has gone down in this week.
It's like the K-drama gods were like, here, you can talk about this.
If you were free.
I wanted a current event, but I didn't want something like that to be our discussion. No. And by that I mean the DramaFever death of 28. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. DramaFever. Oh.
So,
how long DramaFever?
Have you guys been on DramaFever for like years and years?
Yeah, it was the first one I signed up for.
I've been on DramaFever so long that my account name was not Soju Nights.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, I never liked how I couldn't change my handle on that kind of thing.
I haven't been on it that long, so my handle for everything is T-Rex Mama, because it's my roller derby name, so I was in roller derby before I was into dramas, so everything drama related is all T-Rex. So
if a nickname works, the nickname works, right?
As well.
Stick with it.
The first drama that I watched on DramaFever, I want to say, was maybe Fool's Love, which is like one of my favorite dramas. And I'm just checking the dates on this. I can't go double check.
I was about to say, don't go to the website that doesn't exist.
No, you can go to it.
I came out in 2015, so I guess it wasn't that one, but yeah, that's like the first one I distinctly remember watching, but there was, other ones before, but
I think the big one for DramaFever was, I want to say Scarlet Heart. Maybe that was my first, but maybe it wasn't.
I don't
know, but I remember that one.
I remember being super excited when they started putting out the teasers for Scarlet Heart, and I was like, oh, it was the one where like he runs on the horse into like the sunset, and you're like, I was like, like down to clown with that drama. And then it just destroyed me from the inside out. These memories of DramaFever.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm not sure if I probably watched my first K-dramas on DramaFever, but then becoming a member was Goblin, because it was an exclusive one. I watched the first 5 episodes, and then I had to pay money. And I was like, that's when I had to decide, am I really serious about this drama thing? Because when you already have a Netflix subscription, so it's like,
Yeah.
okay, yes, I am. So then
Yeah.
pretty much committed after that.
Yeah, I think my first one on DramaFever was Coffee Prince, but only because I have, for most of, my K-drama viewing, I was never watching anything that was, airing. It was until pretty much this year that I've been, hardcore into, whatever's airing, I'm watching it. So I was doing a lot of, just random stuff on their backlog and watching a lot of J-dramas from that, too. And a J-drama was probably my first real one, but I can't remember.
I want to say that now that you've mentioned Coffee Prince, my brain was like, yeah, you definitely watched that, early on, your DramaFever. DramaFever.
No.
So when did you guys have suspicions that they were actually going to shut their doors so quickly?
Nothing.
I'm typically a positive thinker, so I thought something's going down and it could be really crummy, but I really didn't think that it was going to be that.
Gone.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they were having a DDoS attack or something, so they couldn't upload new stuff because they were postponed for a little while. I was like, oh,
yeah,
that's weird.
It shouldn't have ever said postponed.
Yeah, that was
That was such a lie.
That was just a straight up lie.
They knew. They had to know.
Yeah.
And they kept on that's the big one, right? They kept cashing people's, their memberships all
they took
through
mine
the whole weekend.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
They took mine on
but also somebody I follow on Twitter who said it was 2 hours earlier, and I think the announcement had been made, and then their money got taken out.
Yeah. But also on the newest stuff, they only had the postpone notice on Third Charm for the longest time, and then they put it onto Beauty Inside and all the Monday, Tuesday dramas.
Yeah, so when it was just the first one, at first I was like, oh, maybe there's a problem with the translation or something.
Something happened.
And then they just started adding more and more, and I was like,
So I was thinking, maybe all the translators got sick.
translators strike.
Family emergency. Yeah. There could be all types of stuff that happened to people. And it's but then when some people said even the old stuff was slowly getting pulled, which is bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the DramaFever people didn't know. They knew something was going on, but they didn't know the actual DramaFever, right? And then it was they knew something's weird. This is weird. This isn't okay. We're being told to hold off for a while or whatever, and then the hammer dropped on them too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like it's a really bad business decision.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
If they're gonna start their own streaming service, wouldn't it have made more sense to just keep DramaFever going and then just sort of grandfather everyone into the new streaming service once it exists?
Yeah. Or wait until the current shows that we're in the middle of.
Why would you license things knowing that you were planning to close before they were done?
Which sort of leads me to believe that the DramaFever itself didn't know this was happening.
Yeah, that's why I think that.
Because they wouldn't, it wouldn't, that's just wasting money and, large amounts of money.
Yeah, especially because this time around they had so many dramas. I feel like there was, so many, good ones that I wanted to watch compared to, what they had months earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been kind of slow for a while.
The DramaFever Twitter person had no clue.
Yeah, absolutely.
A few days ago, she's still tweeting about, ooh, look at this drama that's coming out in 2019. She knew she wasn't going to be there anymore.
Yeah, you weren't going to, I think I really sort of knew something was up when they pulled all the videos off of YouTube. I was like,
yeah.
Was that just yesterday that happened?
It was a couple hours before the website got completely shut. Yeah. It's bizarre.
So of course DramaFever closed and the website was obviously shut and there was the notice on there and then YouTube goes down.
Yes.
And Vicky goes down.
I heard Kakao too.
Kakao wasn't loading.
For a while. I was like, well, I guess this is daily motion for old Italia.
According to me, it was them giving DramaFever a moment of silence.
Yeah.
They're all right, DramaFever. Yeah, they were respect. Goodbye.
But you know what? I gotta respect Viki right now. They're like 30% off. You
Hey, that is pretty nice.
Viki.
And they've been like responding to every single Twitter message.
Oh, yeah,
They're like, don't worry, we're still here.
Don't worry.
Yeah, like Vicky's status liked one of my Twitters, and I was going, tweet, liked one of my tweets. And I was going, okay, you're having a good time.
Like, this is a huge boon for Viki right now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see any of that because I have them blocked. Because I was so tired. Every time I complained about them, they'd come in and go, we have volunteers. And I
I always like
volunteers.
Every time I have to be like, I know I can't really complain because they're volunteers, but I wish they would volunteer a little quicker. I love all your volunteers. Don't get me wrong.
Here's what there's a lot of illogical stuff that goes on with the percentages of those. Like,
oh yeah,
it'll get to 85%, and it'll sit there for 3 days. In the meantime, a newer one will get finished. Yeah. Like, it's just bizarre.
Like, you would think they would... Sorry, go ahead.
Was it like last summer? School 2017. That was like, people were furious. They were losing their minds because it would be like the next episode was going to air today, and last week's episode still is sitting at 90%. Like, what the heck, right?
You would also think that they would take like what is trending, and that would be your first like sub. So like, I can understand people getting mad if it's like a lesser known or a lesser watched show. But, like, you would think, because, like, Where Stars Land was, like, trending on, like, number 3, and it was...
And it's a Viki original.
Yeah.
I only noticed that today.
Is that the ones that are, like, I know that Viki's not actually making them. They're just paying
like, producing them, or something, whatever.
But shouldn't those ones, since they paid all this money for them, shouldn't they come with the subtitles already?
You'd think scripted ahead of time.
Or like the volunteer team is a little bit like they're like
preferential.
To like be it like, or if something's happening, pull them out and get someone else.
Or like the stuff that they get through Kokowa or however you pronounce it, like that's already subbed. I don't know why they have to put it through the volunteer sub team. Because like for stuff like Running Man and the variety shows, they just give them the subs. Like when they put them up an hour later, it's at 100%. So obviously. Like, Kokowa is giving them the subtitles, so why can't they give the subtitles for the ones that are also...
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
I don't get that.
It's confusing.
You know what I would like is, even if, like, we're paying for a membership.
Yeah.
And that's going to the licensing and everything. And I love that the subs are better. It's a better quality sub on Viki, definitely. It's better quality on Viki than it is on Kokowa. So... but even if Viki just like hired a core team of subbers to like go through and clean up all the stuff that languishes at 80%, okay, we're gonna get that last bit done, because it's always the technical jargon, or the side couple that nobody cares about, or the it's the crazy aunt, or it's the it's the stuff that you don't really need in order to see like Oppa have his romance, right?
Yeah. But it's like, when it gets to like 90%, like, I can watch it at 90%, because like, from context, you can sort of figure out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're paying
for
it.
But yeah, you're paying for it.
And I know that, Amanda doesn't have the, I pay for the deluxe pass on Viki here. Like, I feel like I should get something more for my deluxe pass.
Well, if you're paying for Kokowa content, shouldn't you get Kokowa subs?
That would be logical.
I shouldn't have to I also get like Where Stars Land, like when I get home from work, and not have to wait like 4 days.
Yeah. And I feel like if they're gonna say this is like a Kokowa or Kokowa or whatever pass, then you should also have access to Kokowa as well. Like, I feel like if this is
it should just like be like a joint login. So like, you can just go in.
So it really surprised me yesterday when I started talking to Jessie about, like, I was interested in signing up for Kokowa, and she was like, no, you have to go to their website. You can't just do it. Because I thought it was just the
that's
Viki
what I thought
premium or whatever. And she was the reason I was interested was the subs thing, because I was just being driven crazy by the Viki subs.
And it's expensive. Like, Coco's really, it's like $12 a month in
No,
Canada.
I pay $6.99 out of Canada.
Canada.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. Canada.
Yeah, we were about to be like, no,
Canadians.
Yeah. Well, and you know what?
Yeah.
If they were not just the big three, if they had TBN and OCN and JTC as well, then
I would.
done.
Yeah.
I would pay. I would pay for that. No
I
problem.
would pay.
But I only want to watch TBN and OCN and
Yeah,
JTBC.
And the only place that has those.
They don't have the good stuff. Yeah.
So, our theories on what's going to happen with the DramaFever whole. So I know that, I think Amanda had mentioned that she thinks the ones like Goblin and stuff will probably wind up on Netflix.
I think the big ones, the really big popular, I mean, why wouldn't Netflix get that? They're doing well with
like
Train to
fully
Busan.
Yeah, they did.
Right? So, like, they've got strong
Mr.
new fans there.
Yeah.
Mr.
And,
Something.
I mean, it had huge ratings. It had huge numbers.
Yeah.
So, why
I know.
wouldn't
I tell all of my non-Korean watching friends who like horror movies. I'm like, yeah, you like zombies? Like, there's a really great zombie movie on Netflix that maybe I should give a look-see.
Yeah.
And so I've gotten like 12 people to watch Train to Busan. and then they're always like, wow, like that was like really good. And I was like, no, I know.
Speaking of, we don't need an American version, thank you.
Yeah, right.
Totally.
Like
Another story for another day.
Yeah.
Like, the thing that I find so ludicrous about it is that it's not like it's a new concept. Like, as a zombie movie, it's a pretty good zombie movie, but all zombie movies are kind of zombie movies, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you just want to make a zombie movie with a hot male lead, make a zombie movie. You don't need to copy an existing,
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, and when's it going to be? Like, Train to Texas? Like,
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
So, like people, the train's not as big of a thing.
Right?
It's in Asia. Like Amtrak zombie. Not.
That puts to mind a totally different type of zombie.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't be that scary as a zombie, I'm gonna be honest. Like,
Pretty past the Amtrak ride.
yeah, and like, I can't. Just make a zombie movie, you don't have to copy it. That's
Yeah.
Subs, people.
Exactly.
You know how to read.
right? Okay. You can put this up in multiple podcasts. What annoys me?
How is our podcast going to generally run? Like, we have kind of a certain way we're going to be going about doing it. So, usually we're going to be talking about current events at first, I think. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then, after that, we'll usually do something fun.
Mm-hmm.
Games, things like that. And then we'll probably have a discussion.
About a drama we're
Something
all watching.
specific. Yeah.
Or we might switch it out, like whatever. We'll see.
Well, Mike, no, we don't know. We might all, you know, who knows?
And after that, will it just be all of our individual segments that we might be coming up with here pretty soon?
We got some stuff in the works. Some stuff coming down the old tubes, the internet tubes. Yeah. To whet your appetite for the many facets of fandom life.
But we're not really a recap podcast necessarily.
No.
I mean, we will be talking about our watching stuff, but we'll be talking about a lot of stuff, and we will be talking about music and all types of other things too. Not just gonna be
the whole Asian entertainment world.
And we don't just chill out in Korea. We go
No,
everywhere.
we
expand all everywhere.
We love all the entertainment, no matter how low quality it has been produced. We will watch it. We will tell you about it.
Some of us will stick to it longer than others.
True.
That's true. But the well-known fact about Natalia, myself here, speaking in the third person, I will watch and finish anything. It does not matter how terrible it is. I will watch it. And if I think it was really bad, but like other people like it, I'll watch it twice to see if I was wrong the first time. So I have seen so
The
many
things you have seen.
The things I have sat through would shock you. Would shock you.
You have stories.
I sat through all of Black Knight. You need constitution to get, like, that's the type of show, it's like, you need to be really invested in the genre before you dive into that hot mess. Oof.
I don't know anything about it, so why is Black Knight horrific?
Let's just say it was so bad that they even made fun of it on the Joel McHale show.
Oh,
like
it made that.
The Joel McHale show of badness.
Oh. I think it was Drama Debussy. India was like posting like clips from it and stuff, and just like weird like dance numbers and like stuff going on.
It's the most nonsensical show. Like, you thought Blade Man made no sense? No. This show.
It almost makes me want to watch it.
Like, you don't even have to watch, just watch like the first 2 episodes and you'll be like, I'm out. I can't take any more of this. And it has that actress that we all love to compare to a block of wood.
Oh. Yeah.
Who's also in Blade Man. Maybe
like
her.
The water gun.
It wasn't
all the weird. They just throw her in there. They're like, this is going to be bad anyway. Let's just throw her in.
Why waste someone else?
It's like no one else wants to touch these terrible scripts, and like, I got someone who might be.
She's in a couple of good ones too. I can't remember what the one is, but she's in something and Six Flying Dragons, and everyone's like, it's so good, and I'm like, but I hate her.
He was just something else that I watched.
But I love UIN, so maybe I can like.
Yeah, he's
that will balance it out.
We want to pinch his little cheeks. Whew! I think that we've covered the.
Is it game time?
I think it might be game time.
So game time is going to consist of we came up with a few questions beforehand, and we. Anyway, how am I going to describe this? Essentially, we messaged each other to try to keep it on the down low as much as possible.
Okay.
So some of us don't know what the answers are.
We each came up with a question about something that we have to relate to ourselves, and then everyone sent their answers to the person whose question it was.
Mm-hmm.
And now we will now have to guess which answer goes with which person.
Very dramatic.
Yes.
I think you're first, Natalia, actually.
I will go first.
All right.
As the fellow exo fanatic in the room, my question was such: if you had an exo superpower, which one would it be and why? Now, should I just read out all the answers and then we have to think about them?
Yeah, do that.
All right. In no particular order. Ice. Because I'm a creature of the cold, and I feel like I'm melting in hot environments. 2, second, flight. Sometimes anxiety gets the better of me, and I get overwhelmed, and just feel like I want to fly out of the situation.
Ooh.
Interesting. Next, wind. Because that part in the Mama video where he's sitting in a chair in the desert with a butterfly and tornado really speaks to me on a spiritual level and reminds me of the "this is fine" meme, which is basically my entire life. And finally, teleportation, because I'm all over the place. All right. Who do we think was which?
I feel like teleportation is either Natalia or Sky, and I'm not sure.
Because of the way it was phrased and
longer.
I see your perception of me. I see that.
Interesting.
Hi.
Well, I mean, you have like 3 Twitter accounts. You're all over the place.
There's reasoning for that. Like I said, I don't want to drive people bonkers with my astral prod. Or vice versa, or whatever.
Fair.
Politeness.
All right, so, any other Guesses?
I can't remember the other one.
And ice. I feel like, no. I want to say Natalia because she lives in the coldest place.
That's true.
That's true.
She is bundled up though. Right now.
Nope. True, I'm wearing like 3 sweaters right now. All right, who was Flight? Who was Flight?
I think that was Amanda. That's just my guess.
Interesting. And then there was also Wind.
I think it was...
You think Wind was Jessie? All right. Answer. Ice was Sky because she hates being Jessie was Flight. Woo! Amanda was Wind, and all over the place was me as television. All right, next question.
Jessie's turn.
Okay. I had favorite drama trope and why. All right. First, we have found family. Specifically, I have a theater performance degree. Specifically, the eating together scenes. Everybody at the breakfast together. People randomly showing up at the house with food. That everybody's mom cooking for everybody, preferably in the kitchen that's not actually hers. We've also got enemies turn lovers. Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth set a precedent, and it still totally works for me. We also have another found family. I love when people find their own way to share themselves as a family unit when not in the confines of a family made through blood. And last, we have marriage contracts. Nothing gets my enjoyment up like hearing someone say, "This is just business. I'll never have feelings for you." If it also has some enemies to lovers elements, even better. So.
That one's Natalia.
There's no other way.
I couldn't even say face. I was like, everyone knows that's me.
This is an example of what we are on video chat too, so it is not helping with.
No.
Anyway, my face gives away everything. All right. I think the food one.
Oh.
Like, bringing food, cooking, found families.
Food trope. I'll be down for it.
I think is Jessie.
Okay.
And I think that the enemies to lovers is Amanda. And the last other found family is Sky. Those are my guesses.
Those are good guesses.
Okay.
I mean, found family, you've got to be like, you've got a 50-50 shot.
Yeah, I know.
And I think we've all admitted that we love that trope.
That's very true.
I thought we were all going to answer that. Everybody's answer was going to be found family, and you'd be like, it's found family, and found family, and found family. Oh,
but at the end, marriage contracts, because Natalia just loves them.
I like those too.
Do you have any more guesses? Or are we good with them?
I think we guessed.
I'm pretty solid on my guesses. Like, I'm feeling pretty confident.
Okay, so the answers are enemies turn lovers. It's Sky. Marriage contracts.
Yeah. What a surprise.
Found family with food. Amanda.
Ooh.
And then the other found family, me, Jessie.
You got me. You got me, Amanda.
Yeah.
You tricky.
You did not get me. I knew it.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, I knew it.
So far, I feel like I'm 2 for 2 on Natalia right now. I mean,
Yeah.
I did say Natalia or Sky, but like, I mean, come on.
I'm
half one.
I'm pretty easy to get. I'm like an open book. Like, I just. So. All right, Amanda, what was your question?
My question was, if you were a product placement in a K-drama, what product placement would you be? So the answers that we have are red ginseng, the gift you give somebody who is old or looks tired. The bottled drink, which is expertly blocked in order to show the label, specifically teas or vitamin waters. Subway, the ever-present, ever-watching, ever-lurking in the background product placement. And the hugely oversized branded plush toy given to the female lead as a prize or present. It's silly and extra, and everyone wants one in their life.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, guys.
Okay.
The Subway one is like super hard because I'm pretty sure we all wanted to say Subway.
Yeah.
That's like the ultimate. Of course, now Quiznos is flirting with us. Huh?
Oh, like
That's true.
Quiznos looks great and all, but I think Subway has our heart. Like, Subway is kdrama. Like they should just
We can be friends with Quiznos, but like Subway is our lover.
We flirt with Quiznos, but we go home to Subway every day.
I'm gonna go red ginseng be Sky, just because of your hair.
Have strawberry blonde hair for the record.
I think the plush toy is Sky.
Why?
She's a little extra. So that's my guess. That's my guess.
All right. So what else did we have?
The perfectly
Subway.
blocked drink.
Wait.
Is that one?
Perfectly blocked bottle drink.
I think that's Amanda. I think the drink. I think that you would find that really like the sort of no, like, I feel like you would see that and be like, hey, like obvious. Love it.
All right. Any other guesses, or should I?
That was Jesse Subway? Is that the guess that Jesse's Subway? Because we didn't say who we thought Jesse.
Oh. Who knows?
The answers.
All right. So red ginseng was me because I was tired when I was answering this question.
Fair.
The bottled drink, expertly blocked, was Jessie because she has a bad habit of buying bottled drinks.
I even have it right now.
Very proppy of you to have it.
I know, right?
Your Subway, ever present, ever watching, and ever lurking in the background is Natalia.
Because I watch everything.
Everywhere.
It's so fortunate she has to watch it.
And that makes Sky our hugely oversized branded prostitute.
Yes! Natalia gets one. All right, Jesse, not Jesse. Sorry, Sky's up.
Yeah.
So I did K-pop songs, which, by the way, was an extremely difficult question. I am sorry.
Very hard.
That was like the hardest one, I thought. So we have Can Be Better by Highlight, or formerly Beast. I'm quite good at letting things go and not getting hung up on the past. Got to live in the present, right? The next answer is Oh Yeah by Excited. I think that's how to say it. The song itself is more centered on general objectification of females and censorship in Korean entertainment, but I can interpret the song in my general work life. I work in a pretty predominantly male field, and although I now work with great people, there have been times in the past that it's been like pulling teeth getting males to respect you as someone who can do the same job, even if it's generally men's work. Then there's Just Do It by 17 BSS. It's a fun song that talks about going ahead and just doing whatever you want. I often joke that I do what I want, and I can be pretty motivated once I have a goal in mind. And the last one is Perfect by PH1. It's upbeat, and even when my life isn't great, it's still good, and I've got blessings on my everything.
Oh, guys. These are so profound.
So deep, man.
We really, thought about these, didn't we?
Which is ridiculous.
Week.
I've got a good couple hours, thinking about
I
stuff,
want to say the second one is Jessie. Because I feel like props in theater could be more of a male-dominated kind of thing. I don't know. And also, I just, don't know what Sky does.
I want to say the last one is Amanda.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. You seem like you have a blessed life, so. Seems like you. Yes.
I'm thinking B song is Natalia, and then the 17 song is Sky.
Yeah, that's where I put it too.
Yeah.
All right, Sky, what's the answer?
Okay, so you're right about Jesse
Mm-hmm.
having the predominantly male field and all that.
Right.
And then Perfect by PH1 was Amanda with her blessings.
I think we were right.
And then Natalia
know
was
each other's songs.
by Beast or Highlight.
I think it's officially
That's
highlight.
Wow.
Highlight.
We were so bad at everything else, but this
Well,
one,
like,
my God.
I think because we like thought about these for a while. We were like, what K-pop song describes us?
What truly describes us.
Took it to heart. And
Our soul.
So then the one that I had picked for myself was Just Do It by 17, which is actually a subunit song. I don't even know that much about 17, but I have some of their songs.
I like
and
like sweet
pretty
boys.
much it's a fun song that's like, I do what I want. And I'm like, I'm down with that. I actually say that a lot.
You know what? It was interesting because now that when I heard our songs, I was like, ooh, they might like, ours are kind of interchangeable. Like, we kind of have that do what
That
you
was
want
when you-
personality. Like,
When you listed those, it was like, those two are either Natalia or Sky.
Did you notice that most of the time the answers everyone thought were interchangeable between me and Natalia? I mean, really?
Yeah,
it's
true.
down.
That's
And we both have chihuahuas.
Yeah.
And we're born 5 days apart.
But if it was a creepy question, she'd probably be clearly the winner on that one.
Well, yes, if it's something about like, who likes butts the most.
I'm like super modest, so I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Like, if it's who posts the most shirtless man ab gifs, Natalia.
Yeah. Mine are always cutesy, like, hey. So game time was fun.
That was good.
So,
All right.
on to the discussion of the thing that we all watched together. Well, not together.
Yes. Well, we watched it separately, but together in spirit. The first episode of the new show on Viki, 12 Nights.
Which we had already chosen prior
Yes.
to the DramaFever death, which...
Yes.
Yes.
So we got really, really lucky.
Yeah. That we chose one that we still watch.
And we noticed that not many people have been talking about it at all, so...
No, it seems like it's sort of going under the radar. Maybe because it's like a
over there.
week show. Yeah, it is kind of a quiet show.
Yeah.
Very
To begin
quiet.
with. Yeah.
I haven't even seen a lot of like ads for it too, or like promos for it. So
To be honest, I
One
hadn't even.
episode a week, but
Yeah.
one long episode.
Yeah.
It
felt like a movie.
It was like
Yeah.
2 hours.
yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. When I first started it, I watched it this morning. Like for the first 20 minutes, I was not feeling it.
yeah.
Like when it was just like her chilling in
Right.
Australia,
Speaking English.
Whatever.
taking
It was
bad,
New York.
yeah, taking bad photos. I was like, But then as soon as like they got to Korea and they brought in the guy, I was like, oh, the dude from. They were both on.
Age of Youth,
Age
right?
of Youth.
Yeah.
I was like, I love that guy. He's such a cutie, but like an age-appropriate cutie.
Bonus.
Bonus. So I was like, oh. And then I was like, he doesn't want to be a business person. He just wants to dance. And I was like, no. Live your best life.
Dance, little man, dance.
And then they brought in, like, there's a cute kid who came in to, like, shake up things. I was like, oh, okay, drama. Like, by the end of it, I was like, I can't wait for next week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
Exactly.
it's beautiful. It look.
Oh yeah.
So pretty.
I always really like, sort of, like, I find there's, like, in production values, there's ones that they look pretty in, like, a really sort of blockbuster way, like Goblin. And then there's ones that look terrible, like Virtual Bride. And then there's ones that look pretty in, like, an indie sort of way, sort of like a smaller film sort of way, sort of like this one, or Oh My Ghostess. It was another one that I really thought. And I just like that aesthetic a lot of sort of like, it's sort of,
It's soft.
it feels more personal. Like you feel like you're, you know, like it's about emotion. It's like evokes more emotion than something of more high budget would.
Yeah.
I also kind of think it plays with the like kind of sense of travel that they both are on this kind of journey, which I also really love that they came to their like home to travel, they're not far away and traveling, but like actually in their country that they speak the language of, and I thought that was a really interesting thing.
But neither of them live there. They both live.
Yeah, they're still like out, but it's still like everybody speaks their same language, and they still have like she has a best friend like, in Seoul.
Yeah, they're like outsiders to their own culture.
Yeah,
I find that I like that sort of play. I also like the sort of the analog feel as she goes and takes her not that great photographs. I'm gonna be honest, though that woman was really mean about it, her photos weren't that great.
Oh my goodness, but the English actress, she was so bad.
Oh, gosh. How could you do this? Like,
why was she so upset?
I don't understand. Like, what did the ex-boyfriend do? Like, was he trying to like put in a good word? And the woman like
he got her past the initials.
Yeah, but like that wasn't good enough.
Yeah, like it looks like maybe he slid her application. Through the initial process into the interviews.
He seemed like a tool anyway, so he's
gone
now, so and she can be with Cutie McDancer.
Cutie McDancer.
So that'll be nice.
No, I also think it's like the whole he's like staying at that one guest house and that kind of like little family that's forming there. I thought that was really nice.
You see a found family coming.
I know. I'm like there. It doesn't matter what it is.
A little dance like found family.
There's so much fate going on.
Oh yeah, like everything is like fate. We keep running into each other.
Also, like he like talks about it too, so it's not like the normal like trope where it's like they always keep passing each other. He's like, we're gonna keep passing each other because it's fate. He's like, this is what's happening.
Like it's gonna happen.
There's a level to that I liked. That it's not as if he was trying to hit on her though.
Oh yeah.
So he, just to be clear for the people who haven't seen it, he talks about fate a lot and meeting her again, but it's not as if, hey, let's go dating, or hey, like it's not like that.
It's like our souls are traveling in a similar direction for a while.
We're similar to each other, and I kind of want to be your
friend. There's like a connection that's happening like that.
Well,
like,
I thought it was nice that he spoke of
it will become romantic. Like, it's a romance drama. Like, the genre was already written there, but it's not like being pushed at it. I really like. There's some new dramas out that are really sort of changing the dynamic of sort of male-female interaction, which I know Amanda and I have talked about this a lot. We really enjoy that, like, Still 17, where, like, instead of it being, like, wrist grab and, like, I kiss you now, it was, like, they came to a mutual decision that they, you know, like people do, you don't, advice, don't go grab people and suddenly kiss them.
Yeah.
Advice, don't let a dude just randomly do that to you either.
It's like literally, if someone grabbed my wrist, I'd like knee him in the balls. Like, get out of here. So I really like sort of this trend that seems to be happening of better gender relations between people.
Well, 12 Nights is, again, it's one of those like Vicky exclusives, right? And I'm wondering how much of that, like sometimes they're exclusives, they clearly have a little bit more to do with it. And so like, I'm wondering how much of that is this drama is made more with an eye to the international market.
Sort of
like if Vicky's putting money into it, Vicky makes their money off the international market. So we want to see some more dramas that we know will appeal more to people overseas who aren't right in the Korean culture, right?
Yeah, and that might also have to do with sort of like the vibe that it has too.
The outsider feel.
Yeah, it has a very
outsider. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, like, just, like, from the aesthetics point of view, it has a very different sort of aesthetic look than traditional Korean dramas. So that could be what's happening.
It did occur to me also, after having watched it, I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, it's interesting that she's from the States and he's from Japan. And traditionally in a K-drama, the Japanese and the US, like
the
American and the Japanese are either going to be the villain, or it means that the characters will have sex because they're not stuck to the like Korean
rigid.
It's fine for Japanese and American people to have sex before they get married.
Yeah.
They just don't know the Korean way, right? Like, it's okay to portray those two cultures as sexual.
Let's be honest. Korean peoples are having sex before they get married too.
Yeah.
Drama's just
not on TV.
Dramas just don't allow it.
Yeah, like, if there's a sex scene in a drama, I'm always like, whoa, oh my goodness, so spicy.
And it's not at all.
But I don't know, I don't really know where this one's going, and I kind of like that. Because, like, a lot of times when you watch a drama, like, you'll finish the first episode and you're like, well,
I can write an episode right now.
Yeah. It's sort of like a Harlequin novel.
Started with a scene of the two of them bumping into each other on the street, like finding each other again. And that whole thing with the street lights, I think they did that like 3 or 4 times in that first episode about crossing the street and coming into each other's path, which was, fun symbolism there. But, like that scene, and then it sort of flashed back to like when they, how they first met and everything. So I'm curious if that initial opening scene is that at the end of their story? Is that in the middle of the story?
The bread of the drama sandwich.
Especially because
it was like it started the same sort of way, but that was the middle of the story, not the end, right? That's their second meeting, not their third meeting. So,
especially because the show itself is set up as 12 episodes, so I wonder if that kind of plays in, if like every episode is going to be a different night or a different year, or like is it how is it going to
every night for 4 days, right? Like
they both said 4.
So it's going to be 4 and then separate and then come across each other again. So I'm wondering if it's going to be kind of with all the fate stuff, if it's going to be kind of that before sunrise kind of an idea, like we'll be together for 4 days and then we have to go our separate ways. And if it's fate, we'll cross each other's paths again. And then, a few years down the road or something and they cross paths again, right?
I'd be down with that. I'd be down.
So
is it a keep watch for you ladies?
Yeah.
I think so.
It's been added to the list.
Of the 2 characters, I definitely think that his is a little bit more interesting at this point. So maybe just because she was kind of brokenhearted and it wasn't that fun.
They didn't really like flesh her out really well. It's just like she's not that good at her dream.
Oops.
And is too embarrassed by her ex to go on a trip she paid a lot of money for.
Yeah.
But then he's like, I'm giving up the corporate life.
And fate is awesome. Let's just see where life takes me.
I'm gonna dance in the street in front of this girl I just met.
Okay. But I borrow sweatpants from a man I'm renting a room from. Go out into the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty obvious who's more interesting to watch out of this.
Yeah. Well, who knows? She might get more interesting.
Yeah. Well,
I'm hoping that she develops a lot, is all I'm saying. Like,
it got more interesting as the episode went on. Like, I found the beginning part slow, but it definitely ramped up. By the end, it was a lot more curious. Yeah. And she seemed to be, with, like, she ran off, to the camera shop or whatever at the end there, and it was like, it felt like she was kind of taking control of her. She was like
Yeah.
giving into her dream the way that he is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
she
she
decided she wanted to take fate at face value, taking his advice on you're never too old to stop being terrible at your dream. But I love that she took a picture of him dancing, but only took like the back of his head too. I was like, what? How are you so bad at this? That might be like professional experience, like just make me mad. But I'm like, dude.
I liked though that like she's on the phone with her ex-boyfriend and he's like, you know, you're trying to force it. You need to feel it. When your body feels the picture, take the picture. And then she's remembering watching him dance and how she kept almost lifting her camera up. Like she wanted to take pictures of that. And it's like she suddenly finally made that connection that like, yeah, I could be good at this if I start taking the pictures I want to take, not just trying to take artsy shots.
I just wish the advice had come from somebody else other than him.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it was really solid advice, but, and then she, of course, I mean, good on her for saying, don't tell me what to do, essentially.
I wish that, like, the lady at the, you know, the camera shop in
that
the one.
she had given that advice. Yeah.
Because, like, clearly she's got a...
Or even the main guy.
She's her in the future. You know? She's who she wants to be.
Yeah.
Maybe she is her. Maybe this is a time travel drama.
Whoa.
We just don't have it.
Everyone's making excited faces right now.
What a twist that would be. Oh, man. Like, if that happens...
Future her has come back in time to turn her into the photographer she knows she can be.
So does that make one of the guys at the guest house him?
Yes, it makes
their kid.
Yeah, who now has a kid because he went back too far initially. Girlfriend who had a fiance. Well, that's a weird plot line that I'm sure.
But engaging nonetheless.
Oh. Lord.
So anything else you want to say about 12 Nights for now, other than the fact that we'll probably keep watching it?
No, I think we'll check in next podcast with our thoughts on 12 Nights as it continues.
So I think that Jessie has some wine discussion that she wants to talk about.
Okay, I'm going to make it real clear. I work at a nonprofit theater. I don't actually have money for, like, really nice wine, so I like wine, but it's not the best. Like, I'll drink some box wine. I'm not
$2 check it is.
But we kind of thought it would be fun to kind of do some wine pairings, and maybe this will help me learn about wine without actually having to purchase it. And we thought, you know, it was timely that right now we are all hurting because of the loss of DramaFever, and maybe we need a wine pairing for that. At first, when I thought about this, I thought, for sure, you're just going to go with whatever alcohol is in your house, because it was kind of late in the afternoon, so you're not going to, like, run to the store. You're going to stay in and, like, hunker down in front of Twitter, because that's all we did last night.
It totally was. My phone was blown.
Yeah, it was like nonstop.
We were having a literal online wait for drama.
Yeah, we were all melting down, and we were just like hysterical. So at first I was like, yeah, the pairing should be whatever is in your house, preferably wine. But, you know, if you had some soju or some beer or some milk for those who don't drink, or tea. But I was also thinking about it because, Amanda, I'm stealing from you because you had said something about pirates. Because, you know, now we're going to live in a time where people are going to become more inclined to the pirate life. And I thought, what would a pirate drink that is a wine? And they would have port wine. Because, you know, it's a blended wine that, like, you put, like, brandy in it so it, like, lasts longer on a boat. And it's a little sweeter. So it's, like, a dessert type wine. So, you know, for like later on in the night when we were all crying about DramaFever, it's like a dessert wine. So I go with ice cream. Yeah, with ice cream. Perfect. So our pairing for our DramaFever memorial should be a port wine.
Excellent.
So what
Choice.
what pairs best with despair? Port.
Pirate
You heard it here first. You heard it here first.
So yeah, no judging for the pirate life is what we're kind of saying.
Okay, if we decide to set sail on the high seas of the internet, stay safe.
Be careful.
Stay safe. Stay safe.
Just be wary. The seas are rough.
Yes, put that ad blocker on, my friends.
Yeah.
Not click download on anything.
Not every ship is nice.
Yes. Some are a bit more rickety than others. So, until the void that has been left by DramaFever is filled, practice safe drama and, go to more reputable illegal sites. Reputable ports of call, shall we say, during your piracy.
Well, I think that's been our first podcast episode.
Woo!
And it was our first one, so if it sounds funky or if we're extra silly, that'd be why.
We're gonna get better.
Yeah. Give us time, okay?
To quote the song of my life, it can be better. It will be. Don't worry about it. Just keep listening. We're gonna have a great time.
Bye!
Bye.